afternoon.
Good afternoon.
If y'all looking for a fancy speech, that ain't gonna happen, okay? First of all, we want to thank you all for coming out and sharing this town hall event with us. It's just awesome to have people to come together and collaborate on the same cause. So I say to you all, welcome. Welcome to Cumberland, Virginia, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nelson, we're ready for you.
Good afternoon. My name is Reverend Dean Nelson, and I serve as the chairman for the Frederick Douglass Foundation. We believe in righteousness, justice, liberty, and virtue. It's a pleasure to make my way down here to Cumberland County. I grew up in Fauquier County, kind of in the northwestern part of the state, and my dad went to a school very much like this, except his didn't have a name, it just was a number 18 school, which was a black school that was educating young black people back in the area that I grew up. I want to say it's a privilege for me to be with you on this important day. I am a member of the Healthcare Equality Network, and working with Elroy Saylor and with Dr. Chavis, we are standing in agreement with you. So join me in honor you and today as we continue to advocate for justice. We give you honor and glory for this great day. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. God bless you.
Good afternoon. The title of this poem, can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Roots, Crown, and Canopy. A sight for sore eyes, a sight to behold, although you are over 100 years old. How did you become a chosen one among so few in a vanishing view? Pine cone, sprig, sapling tree, how did you become rooted in this community? How did the trees become grove, timber, lumber, floor, ceiling, walls, to embrace all the children, calling, gathering, singing, walking, their 2 to 5 mile journey on early, chilly mornings from home to school and home again? A sight for sore eyes, a sight to behold, although you are over 100 years old. Pine Grove, how did you inculcate knowledge, love, character, alphabet, science, mathematics, etiquette, in a 2-room school designed for colored only, children brimming with curiosity? Roots, crown, and canopy, a sight for sore eyes, a sight to behold, although you were over 100 years old. Despite Jim Crow tyranny, you nurtured dreams, instilled faith, grew generations of children, citizens whose deeds became true to their God-given talents and rights, and you become champion for education and environmental justice, a sight for sore eyes, a sight to behold, although you are over 100 years old. The crown is all the tree that can be seen above the ground. So as you still stand pine tall, pine strong, proud, you have become the embodiment, a beacon under this canopy, a legacy, Pine Grove, for the world to see, a sight for sore eyes, a sight to behold. God bless you, Pine Grove. My second task is to introduce the Reverend. Oh, no, sorry.
Hi again. We are now going to take a moment to introduce the partner organizations in this effort. I am Sonia Branch Wilson. I am the Vice President of AMMD Pine Grove Project and the program's chairperson. So I'm going to give those of you who do not know a brief background on AMMD Pine Grove Project. The AMMD Pine Grove Project was formed as an extension of the A.G. Miller Mayo Dungy Family Association, whose ancestral ties are deeply rooted to this historic school. In the early 1900s, members of the historically black Pine Grove community in Cumberland County, Virginia, wanted to have a school built for their children as part of the school building program initiated by the renowned educator Dr. Booker T. Washington of Tuskegee Institute and philanthropist Julius Rosenwald of Sears Roebuck Company. The two men envisioned schools being built by black residents and black students in collaboration with counties, municipalities, and the Rosenwald Fund. Black citizens petitioned Cumberland County to build a school for their children with the understanding that they could secure the land on which to build and contribute a sizable amount towards building it. 4 acres of land was deeded to the county in 1916 by William and Olivia Miller, and sufficient funds were raised, $1,000 from the county, probably from taxes, and $500 from African American residents, and $50 from the Rosenwald Fund. Pine Grove School, built on the 2-room Rosenwald Community School Plan, was erected in time to receive its first pupils in the fall of 1917. The school operated continuously for over 40 years, and the only institution for educating black children in this then segregated Pine Grove community. In April 2018, the association learned that Pine Grove School was at risk of being sold for delinquent taxes and raised the necessary funds to rescue this irreplaceable historic school. In June 2018, another threat emerged. The installation of a mega-landfill was being proposed to be located adjacent to Pine Grove School. With this information, the association added environmental justice to our preservation work. By late summer, AMMD Family Association had galvanized the community to work toward preserving our history and protecting our environment, and changed its name to AMMD Pine Grove Project to be more inclusive. Since its inception, the AMMD Project has connected with organizations and citizens with similar objectives to raise awareness of the historical significance of the segregated Pine Grove School. Social justice activists, historic preservation organizations, educational institutions, historians, scientists, authors, educators, attorneys, and most importantly, the alumni and the lifelong members of the historic Pine Grove community. The primary objective of the AMMD Pine Grove Project is to protect, restore, and repurpose the historic Rosenwald Pine Grove Elementary School to serve the entire county as a cultural center, with particular emphasis on African and Native Americans, to Cumberland's rich history. Our president, Muriel Miller Branch, my mother, who's terribly upset because she can't be here, but we have to take precautions, states currently AMMD Pine Grove Project is providing a platform for community stakeholders to express their concerns and lived experiences, primarily via Zoom meetings and when urgently needed, some safely done on-site community informational events, serving as a conduit for getting information to the community about EJ laws and policies related to both the historic preservation of the irreplaceable Black resources in the community and EJ issues, advocating for the community to DEQ, DHR, and other state agencies to require them to incorporate the language codified in the Environmental Justice Act of 2020 to ensure equity for Black and brown communities in the permitting process, opposing tipping fees and expansions of landfills that only encourage the importation of more waste. We are continuing to raise awareness of the critical need to show the intersectionality between environmental justice and historic preservation of African American resources, insisting that the Army Corps of Engineers honor protections for the historic Pine Grove School provided in the National Historic Preservation Act, Section 106. We work closely with our sister communities through the Virginia Environmental Justice Collaborative to raise our voices against the pattern of injustices where communities of color throughout the Commonwealth are being taken advantage of because of lack of knowledge. We are continuing our research and work towards rural historic designation for the Pine Grove community. And lastly, advocating and agitating for a seat at the decision-making tables locally and statewide. Thank you. We are now going to have Samia Garnes-Brooks. She's going to read for Sierra Club. The representative could not be here today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Every day, dozens of volunteers are taking action with the Sierra Club in Virginia. From speaking out for a cleaner environment to exploring every nook and cranny of our beautiful Commonwealth, they think globally and act locally. The Sierra Club's work makes a difference in ensuring that children opportunity to thrive without the fear of pollution and oppression by using their platform to support the fight against white supremacy and institutionalized racism. The Sierra Club mission to educate and enlist humanity to protect and restore the quality of the natural and human environment cannot be realized if we ignore the pain and suffering of Black, brown, LGBTQ, and all other marginalized communities. The climate movement is not mutually exclusive with the fight against social injustice because they are one and the same. It is not an accident that communities of color are disproportionately impacted by climate change, just as it is no coincidence that about 1 in every 1,000 Black men are likely to be killed by police. Our energy system, our justice system, and so many of our institutions do not treat all lives as though they matter. Protecting the planet cannot be limited to stopping disruption to our climate. We must fight for a future that leaves no one behind. Thank you. Ms. Myers is next up.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank the organizers for including CCLA in this event today. Thank you very much. This is our 3rd year of existence, and our purpose is to stop the proposed mega landfill from coming here to Cumberland County. We've been at this for 3 years. We might be around for a while longer. Our primary concerns are naturally environmental justice for all, Water, private wells. Most of us living in this area are on private wells. We have no protection. And with all the guidelines from EPA and so on, there's none there. We're also concerned about the ground and surface water and our wetlands. So we're working with specialists to address these issues. We do have a leadership team that's comprised of about 10 people, and we meet weekly. We work closely with legal counsel, with specialists. We also have monthly town hall meetings on the second Sunday of each month. This coming next Sunday, we're having a virtual meeting with Delegate Bristol from the Roanoke area coming in. He is the delegate from the State General Assembly that sponsored the bill for in 2020 that's being carried over to 2021 regarding landfills. So it should be a very interesting meeting. We do have flyers in the building with the information about how to log on to that meeting. We also do weekly website posts, emails, and use other medias. And we work with other groups, communities, researchers, specialists, legal, political, communities. We attend various meetings such as the Cumberland County Board of Supervisors meetings and other meetings as necessary. And we just, as part of that, we're firm believers that there is strength in unity, and we are all united in fighting to protect our environment. There will be no landfill in Cumberland. Thank you.
I'm back again. Sonia's condition, asthma, is flaring up. So I will be reading the introduction to Dr. Benjamin Chavis. Dr. Benjamin Chavis, Jr., author, international entrepreneur, chemist, ordained minister, and PBS TV executive producer host, The Chavis Chronicles, is an African-American civil rights movement, 60-year veteran, leader, and lifelong political activist. Dr. Chavis overcame racial injustice and wrongful imprisonment to become a gold leader and icon in the civil rights movement. The first political act of Benjamin Chavis came when he was a wide-eyed 13-year-old. On his way home from school each day, Chavis would pass a whites-only library in Oxford, North Carolina. One day, tired of tattered, hand-me-down reading material and desirous of a book with 2 intact covers, he boldly walked into the library. The librarians told him to leave, but he questioned that demand. He asked, why? This act of courage was not new. While others would typically walk away, Ben would always challenge and ask why. The librarians called Benjamin's parents, but the incident, like the spunkiness of the boy at its center, could not be calmed, and tempers flared. In a short time, the library was opened to all races. A child's simple act of disobedience and intellectual curiosity had shadowed the overt racism of an institution whose sole mission, you, Chavis, knew, should have been the enrichment of minds, those of blacks and whites. He is currently president and CEO of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, representing the Black Press of America, based in Washington, D.C., and is co-founder of the Diamond Do Good based in New York City, New York. Dr. Chavis is the former executive director and CEO of the NAACP. Dr. Chavis.
Thank you very much. This is the day that the Lord has made. And we are so grateful and thankful to be here at this historic school, Pine Grove School, to be here in Cumberland, Virginia. We bring you greetings from the National Newspaper Publishers Association and from brothers and sisters in the environmental justice movement from across the nation. Recently, I penned a short op-ed in the Washington Post about this school, about this community. And they want to bring a mega landfill to this community. Environmental racism is real, and we cannot afford to allow those who would want to profit off of dumping toxic waste, off of dumping other kinds of waste in this community. I want to thank all of the sponsors here today. The AMMD Pine Grove Project, the Sierra Club, the Cumberland County Landfill Alert, and the Healthcare Equality Network. In my years of working in the civil rights movement, our sister, thank you for the introduction, but after integrating the library in my hometown of Oxford, North Carolina, I actually went to work with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when I was 14 years old, up until the time he was killed in 1968 in Memphis. But one of the things Dr. King taught us that applies here today, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Yes. Yes. And so we cannot allow dumping of toxic waste in any of our communities, whether it's black, white, brown, whatever color. A wrong is a wrong no matter where it takes place. I don't know what's wrong with the Virginia Department of Equality. They need to change that name. There's nothing equal about the Virginia Department of Equality. If you allow this landfill, then you become the Department of Inequality. You become the Department of Injustice. I didn't come here to stir nothing up because it's already stirred up. We must stop. Dr. King would say you have to be impatient with injustice. We're not going to tolerate an injustice in this community. This is a beautiful, I'm so thankful to Reverend Nelson as we drove here from Washington, D.C. This is a beautiful community.
Yes, it is.
A pristine community. So, my God, why would anybody plan? Why would anybody try to poison this land, to poison this water, to poison these people, to poison this community? So we must be outraged. We must be organized. And we must be mobilized. I'm so thankful to see the diversity out here today.
All right.
We got people connected to this school, families
Yes.
that are deep rooted in this community. thank you for standing up. Thank you for keeping the legacy of this community alive.
All right.
And I'm just here today to let you know that all my 230 black-owned newspapers across America, we're going to make this a national issue.
Thank you.
This is just not a Virginia issue.
Right.
This is a national issue.
Right.
This is an environmental justice. In fact, this is a global issue.
Yes.
People all over the world need to know what's being planned here in Virginia. So I'm calling out the governor.
All right.
I'm calling out the Department of Equality. And anyone else who thinks that we're going to go to sleep and allow them to do what we know is wrong. We want them to do what is right.
All right.
And that is to stop this plan. Stop this injustice from happening. I'm a preacher, I almost said something else. We got to stop this stuff from going down. I believe that God not only hears our prayers, but God will answer our prayers. So we pray today. We stand up today. We speak out today.
That's right.
And we're going to continue to speak out and organize and mobilize until justice is done. Long live the legacy and spirit of Pine Grove School.
That's right.
Long live the environmental justice movement here in Cumberland County.
That's right.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chavis, for that riveting warm-up. I tell you, it might be 51 on the outside, but if we don't feel a little heat from that, I don't know what to say. So at this time, Samia's going to come back and introduce Reverend J.R. Gurley, our keynote. That's trust. That's my sister friend.
Hello again. Reverend Robert Gurley, also known as J.R. Gurley, is a native of Hampton Roads, Virginia. J.R. began preaching at the age of 13 and later accepted a call to full-time ministry after being miraculously healed from life-threatening injuries sustained in a vehicle accident to which he was the sole survivor. For the past 20 years, J.R. has been serving on pastoral staff at the World Outreach Worship Center in Newport News, Virginia, where he currently resides. In addition to pastoring, J.R. has also served as an auxiliary law enforcement officer, community organizer, political consultant, and campaign manager. J.R. also currently serves as director of the Livingstone House of Prayer in Newport News and as the president of the End Black Genocide organization, where he continues to advocate and volunteer for several pro-life, pro-family causes, missions, and other organizations dedicated to social justice, fighting human trafficking, and ending abortion. Please welcome Reverend J.R. Gurley.
Thank you. Here on a cold Sunday afternoon to talk about such a hot topic.
Yes.
But I want to thank Dr. Chavis. I want to thank all the organizations that came together to make this possible. Can we just take a second to give them a hand? And I promise you, as I speak, the speakers did not share any notes. But as I was driving through here, and as was told to me by several of the leaders, this is in fact a beautiful community. I came all the way. This is a beautiful community.
and this community that we're standing in is a community of great historical significance, as one of our earlier speakers pointed out. Again, in 1917, Booker T. Washington and Julius Rosenwald set out to create these schools, like the one here today, and designated them to educate black children when no one else would take them in. These establishments were called the Rosenwald schools. This one here was recently listed by the National Trust for Historic Preservation as some of the country's most endangered spaces. And I want us to think about that for a second, because of all the places in the world, in Virginia, that they could have proposed such a travesty as this mega landfill, they chose this one. Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, already has 60 to 64 solid waste landfills operating in 134 cities and counties. I'm going to repeat that again. The Commonwealth of Virginia already has between 60 to 64 landfills that are serving 134 counties and cities in Virginia. Why do we need another one here? Furthermore, the Southern Environmental Law Center has stated the increased traffic and pollution, as pointed out by these are serious impacts, and they are not to be taken lightly. As pointed out by another speaker, there are more than 44 private families within this area. Did anyone take note of that before proposing this site? Having access to clean water and clean air is a fundamental human right, and this landfill threatens to take that from this community. Now, we know that landfills and recycling centers are an inevitable components of our society, but has Virginia already had enough? Several years ago, during my law enforcement days, I sat in a courtroom and I listened to a judge swear in a group of young people who were going to testify. They were asked to raise their hands, and everybody raised their hands, and they repeated their affirmation except one person. And so when it came time for that one person to testify, the judge stopped the proceedings of court and looked that young man in the eye and said, "Young man, I noticed that you did not raise your hand, nor did you repeat the affirmation. But it is not necessary, because by your silence, you gave your consent." And I want us to know today that in that story, that history is the judge, time is the judge, our children and our children's children are the judge, and they are watching us. And I don't know about you, but I do not give consent, and I will not be silent.
Come on.
I do not give consent, or we do not give consent, and we need to let them know. Look at your neighbor and say, "Neighbor, we do not give consent."
We do not give consent.
We do not give consent to poison water wells. We do not give consent to polluted air. We do not give consent to understudied, understated, and still unknown health risks associated with the Green Ridge Recycling and Disposal Facility. So today I am asking you, all of us, let's join together, the community, these different community organizations, and all the leaders and the speakers that have come together today, those of you who are even watching at home, please let us come together despite our differences and surround and come together around this one issue. And let those who oppose hear us loud and clearly. We do not give consent. We do not want this facility here. And we are willing to do everything we can in order to keep that from happening. And so I encourage everyone that is here today to check out the facts, hook up with some of these different organizations, and also to sign our petition on change.org. You'll find a petition about this specific project. But it is important that we do not remain silent. It is important that we let them know that we are here, that we are united, and we are prepared to resist through every legal means possible. Is anybody with me?
Yes, sir.
So let us join together. Let us lift every voice and sing. Let us lift every voice and shout, we do not consent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Reverend Gurley, because that is indeed the sentiment of the community, the supporters, and all the organizations. We do not consent. The petition that Reverend Gurley was talking about, Denasia, raise your hand. This is one of our student members of AMMD Pine Grove Project. There's our technology station over there. If you have not signed the petition, please take a minute to go over so that she can walk you through the steps on how to. At this time, Denasia, do we have any questions coming from the live stream yet? Not yet? Okay. All right. Well, we will continue on, and if Denasia, if any questions pop up in the live stream, just raise your hand. Okay. What's next? Our closeout. Okay. So as far as the speaking part, that we'll conclude with Mr. Al. Would you close us out?
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Al. Here is a Pine Grove, an alumnus of Pine Grove School, Mr. Alfred Austin.
If you don't mind, I'll take my mask off. It's cloud in my glasses. I think I'm being pressed into service because Muriel is not here, which is fine. And as most of you know, Muriel is a hard person to replace. But like all the speakers before me, I'd like to welcome everybody that's here. Dr. Chavis, we haven't had the chance to meet, but I was in the civil rights struggle with you. I never knew Dr. King, but certainly participated in several activities. So welcome to Virginia.
Thank you.
Sisters to North Carolina, anyway.
Yes.
And thank you for coming out today. But as Sonia said, I am actually a living alumni of Pine Grove School. I walked 3 miles one way from a farm that we owned 3 miles from here for the first 6 grades of school. And I graduated from here, went to Luther B. Jackson High School, and then to Hampton Institute, now University, in Virginia Union. And I've told this story several times. I competed in corporate America against prep school kids from all over the country, Ivy League, MBAs, and I never felt that my Pine Grove education was inferior.
Amen.
So not only did I attend Pine Grove, but my father taught at another Rosenwald school in Cumberland. So we have a lot of attachment to Rosenwald schools. I would like to thank everybody for not only showing up today, but for the efforts that everybody has put into trying to stop the landfill. It's appalling to think that if we're not successful, that several years from now, a mound, what is it, Kevin, 900 feet high?
900 feet.
Could be directly across the road from the school. So you can see we have to work hard and diligently to make sure that that doesn't happen, because that would be a disgrace. And I have yet to hear one person explain why another mega dump is necessary in the state of Virginia. So again, thank you all for coming. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. For those of you who know that I'm a big quote guy. So I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes because I think it's very appropriate. And it says that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Other alumni join you up front for a moment for a picture of okay.
Could all the other alumni from Pine Grove come up for a picture opportunity, I think?
Yes.
for Lloyd.
All the alumni for Pine
All
Grove.
alumni.
I
Step
see
right
Sybil
up.
and Lloyd. Who else?
Step on up.
There's Fanny.
Cousin Dorothy. Y'all making me call names.
Okay. Thank you.
Right up.
Come out, what is that?
She's on the lower one.
Right now, one round. All righty. That all of us?
Everywhere. You got a bunch of them. Hold on, you got a bunch of them. Got a bunch of them.
Over here real quick.
As they come down from the familiar stairway, we are just so thrilled that we've had this opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Al, for stepping in for me. I know I was being little Muriel just a moment ago. So, and I appreciate you for stepping in. We are now going to have our turkey distribution, and also there are some gift bags inside. So we are going to ask that only 2 enter at a time inside. And if you would see Angela and Miss Myers, I know some of you pre-registered for the event so that you can get your turkey. We always want to give back to the community, and with the help of Mr. Saylor and his organization, we are just blessed to be able to bless the community. So, Mr. Saylor, did you want to say something? No, you're good? Okay. All right, well, thank you all so much for everything, and we're all in this together. Thank you. Any more questions? Any questions, Tina? No? You did so good. Thank you. I didn't say nothing. A picture with you for your ID portfolio.
Are they over there? Over here?
Needed.